Hey guys, it's Lindsay. We're gonna do a mini reading for Cancer. As always, if any of these readings don't align for you, please take only what you need and leave the rest. This is a group reading. If you want a personal reading, you can check out my links, right? Okay. And I do have the full year deep dive for Cancer in the deep dive playlist, so make sure you check that out if you're interested. Okay, this is interesting because I never split my deck, really. I very rarely split my deck in this way. But I have 3 cards lined across the top and I have 1 on the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna see what's happening here because this is something very interesting, Cancer, in the energy. I feel like your story is unfolding, okay, in June into July, in your birthday season. Your story is unfolding, and it's unfolding in a very unexpected way. Oh, this is really, oh my God. Okay, this is crazy because it's all male, it's all masculine energy, and that can be related to you, or that can be related to a person that you're interested in, or like, it's giving more of a relationship energy, Cancer. So this is specifically the energy that's coming through for your mini reading. Page of Cups. So I'm getting this energy of someone who is like, I don't want to say ditzy, but like, you know, like up in their heads, like they're but like not in a paying attention way. It's more of like they're not paying attention at all, so like they're kind of like in a dream-like quality. So that's a Page of Cups, but it's like directly tied to their emotions. So emotionally they feel themselves go up and down because of like whatever fantasizing they have going on, you know, and that's very much what I'm seeing. Is like a disconnection from reality here is the way it's coming through. Very interesting. Second card on the pull, we have, oh, and there's a little alarm. We have the King of Cups, who is the King of Emotions, okay? So when we go from the Page of Cups to the King of Cups, we're going from someone who doesn't know how to handle their emotions and who kind of like goes off into their own reality, into someone who's very aware of their reality and uses their emotions to direct their reality, okay? This is so interesting. And we have the 5 of Swords, which was reversed. So Swords has to do with the mind and how you perceive the world through the mind. And this is weird because it's coming off as like the same person, but also different people, Cancer. So 5 of Swords has to do with the mind, and this is someone who's very in their mind, very similarly to the Page of Cups, but this one's emotion-based, and this one's more thought-based, okay? And then we have the King of Wands at the very top, who is like the passionate king, right? It's often associated with fire signs. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of romance, but this is really interesting because, as I said, these 4 masculines all feel like they could be the same person, but they are different people, if that makes sense. So this may be someone who doesn't have a really clear sense of themselves, Cancer, okay? So they may be trying to be the King of Cups, who is like emotionally stable, but they may be getting lost in their emotions, and then they may be trying to be the King of Wands and show up like passionately and romantically and stable again, but they're actually just getting, you know, cut off by their thoughts of how to do that. So it's someone who doesn't have a really good sense of their self in a romantic connection, and I feel like this may be more like a partner thing. So it's like the struggle between, not only for you but for them, between, you know, figuring out what is happening here, right? So if you're dealing with 4 different people on a daily basis, how are you going to handle that, okay? And for some of you, this may actually be dealing romantically, Cancer, in this period with multiple people. So you're dealing with like, you know, a possibility of king energy, but then you're dealing with other people who are not, basically, where they try to portray like they are and they're just not. Okay, so for some of you it may actually be multiple people, and for some of you it may actually be one person who has literally like multiple personalities. Okay, multiple ways of coming into the world and showing up the world. Okay, very interesting masculine energy, very interesting. So we're gonna keep going with this kind of layout that I have, because I want to get a little bit deeper for your mini reading. Oh, okay, so this is really interesting now, because we're coming with the feminine energies. Wow. Okay. So it seems like you have 4 feminine energies below 4 masculine energies. So it's like whatever this masculine energy, and that doesn't mean gender, it just means, you know, whoever portrays these energies more, right? Whatever this masculine energy is actually kind of like cutting off the energy to the feminine, right? So we have the feminine who is in 4 of Cups reverse. So this is the feminine's like emotional state, which is like fully drained, right, Cancer? And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, so that has to do with work and creativity and like getting things done, achieving goals, things like that. So it's like directly under the masculine energy, having to deal with whatever this energy is. And so the feminine's emotional state is drained, and she can't get her work done because she has to deal with whatever this situation is, right? And again, this is coming in very romantic for Cancer, okay? And so you're at like this learning point, feminine, like in the turning of the wheel. So again, this is you are learning how to turn the wheel or close the cycle or kind of manage things for yourself, okay? Because I feel like you have to rise up at this point, Cancer. And for many of you, that may actually be removing this person for your life. You have the 3 of Swords, and I think you may have, this is so crazy because the Gemini reading was like this too, but in a different way. I think you may have recognized this because you just can't simply move on in your life, right? Like you have goals that you want to do, Cancer, and you know what you're going to do, and you have like, you've written it down, you've made a calendar, and you're like, I'm going to achieve this, this, and this. And you can't do it because you're dealing with this masculine energy that's just all over the place, right? Look at that. I mean, like, sometimes you're dealing with a king. Great, he knows his emotions, and then some days you're just like all over the place, right? And you just don't understand how to do that, and you shouldn't have to, right? Like, you shouldn't have to hide away yourself in order to deal with this masculine energy. Like, you have things you need to do in your life, Cancer, and that's the way it's coming up. So let's kind of get into this message a little bit deeper. Okay, so friends are going to be very important for you right now, as you, if you choose to move on from this relationship, Cancer. We have the 8 of Wands, like putting yourself into a creative space with friends. And then we have the 3 of Cups, leaning on friends for help, emotional support, things like that, okay? Because I do get a lot of movement energy for many of you, which tells me that you're leaving this person. And so you're going to need, you know, to lean on your friends at this time and get back into your creative self, because that's going to help you really get to where you want to be. Ace of Pentacles, yes, because once you leave this energy, Cancer, once you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore, I can't be, you know, your emotional referee. That's literally what's happening here, is like being this person's emotional referee. Once you make that choice and set that boundary, your creativity is going to do very well for you, Cancer, at this time. Like, you're just blooming, and it's also, money is coming in very quickly, but it like requires you setting that boundary. You're like, I am not here for this, whatever this is, because you're keeping me from achieving my goals, and that's not where you want to be any longer. Like, no love is worth that cost, right? Because it is your life and you have to live it, and you can't be, you know, managing somebody else's life for them, right? Are you getting paid for that? No, you're not getting paid for that, okay? So, but you are getting paid for your creativity. You are getting paid for moving on, for setting your boundaries, and for showing up for yourself. And you're getting paid very well, very quickly, okay? So that's really this reading, is like setting yourself for success and getting yourself up from under this other person in a romantic relationship, okay? That's the mini reading for Cancer. My name is Lindsey Rose. This is Storyteller Tarot. If you'd like your own personal reading, please check out the links in bio. Otherwise, I wish you guys well.